After another Bears disaster in Week 14 against the San Francisco 49ers, the blame shifted to the man that put together the entire team in Ryan Poles. The Thomas Brown experiment did not work its first time around. Clearly, players are also expressing on and off the field that they're pissed about where this team is at. And guess who else is pissed? George McCaskey, Bears chairman and CEO, who went from never doing anything to doing everything over the last couple of weeks, is just as angry as we all are. And I'm here to break down the state of the Bears and where Ryan Poles sits. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago Bears. My name is Nick Brody, and as always, thank you for tuning in. Now, before I get into today's show, hit that like button if you want major changes this offseason to the Chicago Bears, and comment in the comment section the first move you would make if you were George McCaskey. And are you a Bears fan, want free Bears news notifications? Hit that subscribe button. And if you do all the above, you automatically enter to win a custom Chicago Bears jersey. Just announced the 3 winners over the last couple of weeks. We'll announce the other one this upcoming Sunday after the Bears game. So let's just talk about how hot Ryan Poles' seat truly is. Well, Ryan Poles, who is now 14-33 as a Chicago Bears general manager, might have cleaned the books and got the Chicago Bears a ton of draft picks over the years, but he has guys playing out there that are making big dollars that don't even look like they want to play on this Bears team. Montez Sweat is on pace for a career low year in sacks and tackles, and if he was hurt like people are telling me, don't play him. That's simple. Let him heal up and be better later in the season and talk to your head coach along with your training staff. Also, you paid him instead of Roquan Smith, who has been an all-pro ever since he left Chicago. You have Tremaine Edmonds, who looks like he's giving 50% effort out there, who you also paid over instead of paying Roquan Smith. Nate Davis, you paid, not even on the team anymore. He was toxic to this roster. And your head coach, who you stood beside when you had a chance to get Jim Harbaugh, and you fired Eberflus instead of firing him when you had a chance to. Way too little, way too late, and he's put himself in a real pickle. Poles also could have made a case to Warren and McCaskey about getting rid of Eberflus and signing a guy like Harbaugh last year, but he didn't. He doubled down on Flus. Warren didn't help either, but it was Poles' call at the end of the day. And after this decision, with all that other stuff that I just mentioned considered, McCaskey then found out about the reports a little bit more in detail, how Jim Harbaugh really did want to come to the Chicago Bears. And as you can imagine, he wasn't happy about it, especially with how the Chargers have been after they got rid of all their top players this offseason, or most of them. And they're better than they were last year, playing against the Chiefs and keeping it close. Keep this in mind, too. Even if the Bears fired Flus, he was reported to make about $7 million a year. So he would have made $21 million after last season with the couple of years that he had left on his contract. That is 1% of the McCaskey's net worth. $21 million is 1%. This guy could reach into his pocket, pull me a couple pennies, and he would be, or a couple $1 million, and feel like pennies to him. He could have sucked it up and gotten a better head coach. And that's why this team is put in the position, because this is a nice roster. We do have a nice roster, but also there are some key areas that Poles has missed on. He overinvested in the wide receivers like DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Rome Odunze. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but if you went out and got Allen, you didn't have to go out and get Rome this year. There's going to be another player like Rome in the draft in later years. You could have used that pick on a left tackle or a defensive tackle at number 9. And then on top of it, you could have moved Braxton Jones to the guard position if you knew you were probably going to get rid of Nate Davis anyway. Instead, Poles took another wide receiver, which we were already deep on. And now that's not allowing us to see Tyler Scott's ability, who is like a Darnell Mooney. And Darnell Mooney is having a very solid year in the Atlanta Falcons this year. Poles also let David Montgomery walk, Lucas Patrick walk, Roquan Smith traded for pennies on the dollar. All 3 of those guys, which this team needs at running back, guard, and center, and also linebacker, are having career years year over year. Poles should have addressed the trenches first, like every championship team does. Look at the Detroit Lions. And instead, he built the defensive secondary first, the linebackers, the wide receivers, the tight end, the running back, and then the quarterback. None of that is going to work unless you win in the trenches, because as we all know, championships are built in the trenches. Poles is on a super hot seat right now. And Kevin Warren, who's been a part of building great teams and great organizations, sees how this was all half-assed backwards. Not a good look. And Poles' seat is red hot. And just to make his resume even more known how bad things have gotten, how bad was that loss yesterday? Well, besides it being on national television, arguably the worst loss since the New England Patriots loss, the Bears had a total of 4 offensive yards entering halftime. You heard me. 4 total offensive yards entering halftime. We're down 24-0 entering half. Along with that, Caleb Williams is the most sacked rookie quarterback over a 7-game span in NFL history, second in 13 games. The defense also went from allowing less than 21 points in 14 straight games to now allowing more than 23 in the last 4 of 5 games. It's not just that, though. The Bears lost this game walking onto the field. There is no drive on this team, no leadership. It's all on an individual basis, and guys are getting paid. The big guys yesterday were TJ Edwards, Kyler Gordon, Caleb Williams, Rome Odunze, and DJ Moore, which had good games. And you're like, wow, those are a lot of good people that had good games compared to the rest of the team that had absolutely horrendous games. Otherwise, no one else wanted to play. And the man to blame on the team's state right now, mentally and statistically on the field, is Ryan Poles. He put this together because Caleb would be a lot better and not getting sacked if he would have addressed the trenches. We also wouldn't be the 28th rush defense in the NFL if he would have addressed the trenches besides Montez Sweat and Javon Dexter. You need 4 guys out there. We need to also stop running the stupid 4-3 defense, which I hope we stop doing after this year, especially who we bring in as defensive coordinator. But my goodness, I'm a big Ryan Poles guy, and I've always been on this channel. But now the heat's on him. And I'm truly seeing now that with his design of this roster and how he did, Bears are in big trouble. And if they keep Poles after this season, it's got to be trenches all the way, baby. Now, before I get into the good that came out of yesterday's game and why Ryan Poles still has one more shot to make this thing right, I would like to thank today's sponsor, Cornbread, which is the first USDA organic hemp gummy in the U.S., USDA certified organic, third-party lab tested, vegan, dairy, and gluten-free with no artificial flavors and preservatives, and proudly grown here in the USA. Support a family-owned business if you are into CBD gummies or hemp gummies. And also, they're giving one fantastic extended Black Friday special. Free shipping on all orders with their 30-day Better Life guaranteed. You don't like it, send it back for a 100% refund, along with 100% legal for those 21 plus. Go to the link in the description to get 30% off and free shipping using code JAYCHI today. Okay, but there was some good here. I'm just going to go into it. There was some good from yesterday that we have to look for moving forward, especially for Ryan Poles, because he's pretty lucky in this situation, I guess, but we'll see. Bears now have the top 10 pick. They're actually sitting at number 8 at the moment, depending on how tonight's game goes. Panthers also losing puts them in a top 40 pick for their second rounder that the Bears have this upcoming year. And the Bears also have a very lucky defensive tackle and offensive line deep draft this year for Ryan Poles to go out and draft. Again, he has 4 picks in the first 3 rounds. Bears also have $81.5 million in cap at the moment. Bears have shown that they have the pieces, but they need a few more to complete the puzzle. Young guys see a young team that will have a new head coach and a new culture being built while also getting paid because their paychecks will be bigger and they'll want to come and win some championships. And you win in the playoffs, you win games, you win championships, you get even bigger bonuses, and that's a percentage of what you already make. These guys can make hand over fist money. But also, Caleb Williams is the guy. Being as bad on a team as he is right now, still on pace to pass for over 3,500 yards, 21 touchdown passes, 7 interceptions, and 405 rushing yards on pace for it. That's just on pace. This kid's going to be special. He's the next great quarterback in this league, and players are going to want to play for him. I mean, again, 7 games in a row without an interception is pretty darn good considering how bad this offensive line is and how bad the play calling was before Thomas Brown took over, which it still isn't ideal. Guys, I'm with all of you. I am tired of this Bears team being bad. I am. This team has the most loyal fans in the NFL, in my personal opinion, and we deserve better. And I'll say this, is that the Bears are listening to their fans finally. George would have never actually fired Eberflus in the middle of the season. I'm sure there have been other GMs that have approached him, but he said no. He finally did. Kevin Warren, on top of it, too, is taking matters into his own hands. He's built great organizations, and he's starting to do things right as well. And I'll say this, too. Poles would have not done the good things that he has done without hearing us from fans. We wanted wide receivers. We got them. We wanted tight ends. We got them. We want an explosive offense. We have it on roster. We just need the play callers now. And Eberflus was strapped to him. It wasn't exactly Poles' choice, but Poles could have been a man and went out and put up an argument to get Jim Harbaugh. But at the end of the day, this offseason, there is 0 excuses for the Bears. And they could get the best trenches, best depth in the trenches on both sides of the ball in the NFL because Ryan Poles knows what he has to do because he has everything else completed. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts. And again, guys, please hit that like button on this video if you want major changes to this team, along with commenting the first change you would make to this team if you were George McCaskey. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let's hit 22,000 subscribers. But with that, thank you, as always, for doing this episode of Just Another Year Chicago Bears. My name is Nick Brody, and as always, bear down, baby.